Whoa! And the crowd goes wild. Tell us, Carolee, how does it feel to get that winning basket?
You know, that was easily my best basket all season, and I thank God for that one.
Now, do you really think God helped you win that basket?
Well, I mostly just said it because today's episode is about faith in sports.
Nice segue. And she's right. Today's episode on faith in sports is what we'll be talking about today. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carolee. And this is Real Faith TV.
Hi, we are St. Michael's Youth Group, West End, New Jersey, connecting faith and life. And you're watching Real Faith TV. Woo!
Faith influences my approach at taking the field because it reminds me not to get mad at the opposite team or the refs.
Faith teaches me about my sportsmanship to be nice to other people during the game and not get mad at them.
Before I go into a performance, I pray to him and make sure that I won't get hurt and I remember the dance.
I've been inspired by other athletes when I play the game because it helps me learn ideas and moves that help me grow in my sports.
I have grown as a person by participating in sports, by being a good teammate and being nice to the other team.
Preference into my playing and watching sports is before every game, I'll pray to God to protect me and my teammates and for us to have fun, just have a good game, and just the capability of being able to play.
Yeah, I feel like he's there to protect me and make sure I don't get hurt and my teammates, and he likes to watch sports.
I don't think that God really cares who wins the game. He doesn't pick sides. He wants everybody just to have fun and do their best for what they think they can do.
My faith helps me to handle the triumphs and defeats of my life because I know that God is always there whenever I need him through my ups and downs, and I could always call to him.
We would like to thank St. Michael's Youth Group from West Long Branch, New Jersey for helping us to open the show today.
And for sharing how they incorporate their faith on the field, on the court, and really anywhere a sport is involved.
There are hundreds of recognized sports around the world that help fuel our spirit for competition, physical and mental exercise, and social interaction.
Of course, not everyone is into sports, but for those of us who have found this as our niche, it can have many positives to offer.
Let's meet our spotlight guest, Nicole, who will share with us some of the sports she has played.
And what she has learned throughout being part of a team of various sports she has participated in.
Throughout my life, I've played multiple sports. I've run cross country, I did track, I played basketball, played softball, and then once I got to high school, I picked up field hockey, which was a sport that I played for the first time. Going into my freshman year in high school, a group of my friends and I were just like, you know what, let's try something new, and we had never heard of field hockey before. So we picked up a stick for the first time and we went out there, and at first it was awkward and it was kind of weird, the sport of itself. And then once we went to captain's practices and we started playing more, we really enjoyed it, and I played that all throughout high school. I like to play sports so much because I like the interaction with different people, and I like to meet other people, people that I wouldn't normally meet in the classroom or in the halls at school, so that we can get a chance to get to know each other and play on the field. I like the competitiveness of playing sports. I like going against someone, competing to be the best at what we do. Sports has definitely taught me a lot. It's taught me about character building and sportsmanship and teamwork, and definitely leadership. Having sports in my life has also taught me how to lose, especially if, whether it's on the field, off the field, in the classroom. It's definitely taught me that you need to see the other side of it. So with losing, you know, it's tough to kind of initially get over the loss during the game, but after, you just think forward and you're like, okay, next game or next practice, I'm gonna work hard to accomplish this, so that this way the defeat of it doesn't really take over what you're trying to accomplish at the end of the day, which is getting better all the time.
I really like what Nicole said about meeting new people outside the classroom and stuff. I did cross country in middle school, and you would like find people that were like the same speed as you and just like form a group with them, and you'd all run together. And it was like just a really great opportunity to meet new people,
Yeah, right. I mean, I've played so many different sports, and in high school I really focused on swimming and cheer, and you really get to know people that you otherwise wouldn't have come in contact, like she had said.
Yeah.
So let's see what our studio guests have to say.
All right, they are Mike,
Jess,
Lauren,
John,
Faith,
and Juliana. What sports do you guys play, or what sports are you into?
Well, personally, I'm a swimmer. I've been swimming for the last 2 years, and I really enjoy it.
I did soccer for 3 years, 6th through 8th grade. So,
I'm a dancer. I've been a dancer since I was 3 years old. I really enjoy swimming and volleyball, but I've never been. Well, I've been on a team before, but currently I'm not.
I do cheerleading, and I mostly do it to like keep in shape and stuff, and I like cheering people on and like giving them encouragement. But I also do it because I feel like we all bond as a team together, and we can bond over how we do like the same activity, and I feel like I could share a lot with them.
When I was younger, I wrestled and played soccer, and now I swim too, because I just love the positive energy and how like everyone gets along.
When I was younger, I used to play basketball and soccer, but now softball is like my main sport I play now.
All right, well, as we clearly just saw, athletes come in all different shapes and sizes and play a variety of sports.
Some of us may be into cross country, others into cycling or skiing.
Maybe it's a fast competition found in lacrosse or soccer that gets our adrenaline pumping.
Or maybe we like the quiet concentration required of golf or the teamwork of rowing.
Whatever our calling is in sports, we can look to our faith to persevere and be a good model of sportsmanship to others.
Playing sports requires the ability to concentrate amid cheers of excited fans and the energy in the crowd.
Similarly, in our spiritual lives, we need to focus on God first, despite the noise and distractions surrounding our lives.
Let's go back to our spotlight guest, Nicole, where she'll talk about how she was able to compete at the next level in her field hockey career.
And how she depended on God to help her get through each game.
My senior year in high school, I was named team captain, I was all division, and I was also third team all-state. And at that point, I had received a scholarship to Sacred Heart University in Connecticut, a Division I program that I was able to compete at the next level. And the training for that process was tremendous. I skipped out on a lot of things. I missed Sweet 16s, I would miss hanging out with my friends for field hockey tournaments, field hockey practices, and really just focusing on getting to that next level and maintaining it once I had received the scholarship. My faith played a big part in it. A lot of times I was either really nervous for a tryout that I had, or I was just so overwhelmed with everything that I just needed either 5 minutes to just step back and kind of pray and ask God for guidance to see what my next move was going to be, and for him to just be like, everything is going to be fine. Before every game, my pregame ritual after I put on my jersey is that I make the sign of the cross, and that's my quick reflection and prayer to God to say, let me have a good and a safe game. And I don't really care about what everyone else is doing at that point. It's just me and him, and that's like our quick connection before I go out onto the field and play. A lot of it is a lot of hard work, and that also goes with your faith as well. You have to put in the work with your faith, and it's not just on the field, it's off the field too. When we played in Vermont this year, it was on my birthday, and I happened to score twice, and after the first time I was really excited, and I just really got my teammates going. And then after I had scored the second goal, it was a lucky tip, and every time I watch the video, I'm like, how did I make that? And a lot of the times I think that it was God kind of saying, what, it's your birthday, your parents aren't here, here's a goal for you. And after I scored that second goal, I had never been more excited, and I feel like his presence was really there that game.
Often during the course of a season, we are challenged by any number of things.
We can be tested physically with overcoming an injury.
We might feel the other team is playing dirty and we want to retaliate.
We may not think the referee or umpire is calling the game fairly, and we want to scream and yell.
Or we might just need to work on being a better loser or a better winner.
Being a good athlete requires us to put our faith into action, but that is a conscious choice.
So when was the time when you guys were tested and needed to rely on your faith?
Well, there was one time when I was tested during a game, and it wasn't a big game, wasn't a playoff game or anything like that. and the team we were playing was losing pretty bad. And when the game ended, we, obviously go shake hands and say, good game. And they decided to spit on their hands, and then we had to shake their hands. Half my team wanted to fight them, but I had no desire to fight them because I was always brought up to, respect every player and treat them like they need to be treated, even if they don't return that respect that you want.
I'm a cheerleader, and I've wanted to be a varsity cheerleader at my high school that I knew I was going to since I was like 5 years old. And at the end of my 8th grade year, I broke my ankle playing softball, and I didn't know what to do because I knew that cheerleading tryouts were the next week, and even when I went to the doctor, I was like, no, that doesn't hurt, when really, it was broken, so. And I went to the coach, I said, is there anything I can do, get in a tryout, maybe at a later date? And she was like, no, that's not really the way it works, someone else could deserve your spot. So I was like, Mom, why is God doing this to me? I wanted to know, if I did something wrong. So then, I was put on JV after my ankle healed, and actually it turned out it was a positive experience because I was on a team with a bunch of people in my grade, which was good because I gained a lot of friends, and now I'm on varsity as a sophomore, and it's everything that I expected it to be.
One time I was tested was when I played soccer, and before the game you have to check in, bang on your shin guards and show your cleats and then your number. And the ref, my number is 0, and I turned around, showed him my number, and he was like, were you too small for a real number? And that really got to me because I was, always a smaller kid. And my coach just started laughing, and I wanted to hit them both so hard in the face, but I had to hold back and save it for the game and use that energy somewhere else because, that wasn't worth my energy. And I was just frustrated because I was like, okay, these are adults. Yeah, I'm used to kids picking on me for being small, but you're adults, you're supposed to be more mature than that.
I know I was certainly tested when I played swim and cheer. And so I've had a lot of injuries, sports injuries, because I'm really flexible and I'm double jointed in my shoulders, my elbows, my hips, and my knees. And so I'm kind of always been super small too. So I was on the top of the pyramid for a lot of stuff, but my double joints restricted me from doing a lot of stuff because they couldn't twist me or throw me the same way because my shoulder would pop out and they'd have to bring me back down so I could pop it back in. And during swim, I was constantly restricted on which stroke I could do, and I ended up having to walk away from the sport actually because it was whether or not I could use a shoulder for the rest of my life or play a sport for a couple of next years, you know what I mean? And so I really had to count on God and kind of pray through that to help me get through that time. In his first letter to the Corinthians, Paul writes,
do you not know that in a race, all the runners run, but only one receives the prize?
Run that you may obtain it.
This requires perseverance.
Sometimes the soccer team takes the field by storm and wins with little effort.
Sometimes a basketball team is down by so many points, they may know they can never come back.
Sometimes you start the race in the back of the crowd, yet slowly move to the front, or maybe you stay in the back.
Any sport has its moments of glory and struggle.
It's how we act in the struggle that really shows our character and commitment.
And it's about becoming the person God made us to be as we participate in the sport we love.
The training, effort, and concentration help us to become better players, to develop strategies, to see the objective, and to achieve it.
We can use those skills to help us in our faith life as well, but our faith life also requires the same level of training and commitment.
And all of this practice serves us well in all aspects of our lives.
Has there ever been a time when you were inspired by another athlete's performance or a performance you saw on TV?
Or maybe you even surprised yourself?
Yeah, I know that one time when I really surprised myself, I only started swimming my junior year of high school, and I really hadn't done any other sports prior to that. So at the end of my senior year, when I was looking at my times for swimming and how I went from finishing, dead last by, a good minute to, placing 4th or 3rd in a race, that was great for me.
So my poppy, he's 70-something years old. On the 4th of July, we always run a 5K, and this is my first year doing it. So really, he inspired me to run like 3.1 miles, and I ran it, and I finished in 34 minutes. and he finished in probably like 43. And in the Masters division, he won second place because there was no one older than 70 other than him and another guy. But really, he inspired me to train and run the race.
So another person would be Bethany Hamilton for me, and you guys may know her. She was attacked by a shark when she was swimming with her friends, and she lost most of her arm up to her shoulder. And what really inspired me, she still went back into the ocean and eventually came out as a champion for surfing, even though she had one arm. And she also continued to do mission work for other kids in spite of having one arm.
And what we really don't understand as when we're little is the little things that we take for granted. Like sometimes I talk with my hands, right? But what if I didn't have a hand to talk with, you know? Or what if I didn't have a leg to play soccer with, you know?
Someone that inspires me was the captain of my wrestling team in middle school. Because, you know, in middle school, most of the guys on the wrestling team were like really immature and they were really mean to all the like younger kids and like the kids who really didn't quite fit in. And what really inspired me about him was that he was small, like me too, but he had so much authority and he was so intense that like he could just look at like the kids that were being mean and they would all knock it off even though they were twice his size. And like that's something I looked up to, not only in that sport, but you know, my whole life, that just because I'm small doesn't mean I can't do anything.
Yeah, I know a time when I surprised myself. I had played soccer for 3 years, and out of all those 3 years, I never made a goal except for my last year when I was in 8th grade. And the ball just landed at my feet, so I just went for it, and then I ended up scoring a goal, so I thought it was pretty cool.
You know the saying, practice makes perfect.
As we all know, there's no perfect athlete, and there is no perfect Christian.
Yet, there are stellar examples of both athletes and Christians who develop habits which have helped them to succeed.
If a runner doesn't train religiously, he will not win the race.
Each sport has its various tools, techniques, and knowledge.
Our faith has tools too, like prayer and the sacraments, and has techniques for prayer.
Like the Our Father and Hail Mary and the Scriptures, and our faith shares knowledge through the Catechism and all the church teachings.
Making time for each of these elements and building habits of prayer and participating in sacraments will help us run the eternal race well to get to heaven.
Next, our Spotlight guest Nicole discusses the importance of good sportsmanship
and offers advice for other athletes who may be facing issues both on and off the field.
I take sports seriously, and I've just seen people sometimes take it a little bit too far. And I've been on the opposing end of it where as we're going through the line after the game where everyone's like, good game, I've had people skip my hand and not say anything at all because they lost, or either they're too big after they won and they don't feel that they need to shake everyone's hand at the end of the game. One thing that stands out to me when I watch professional football games is at the end of the game how both teams come to the center and they have a quick group prayer, and sometimes I wish that my team did that because I like seeing two teams who were opponents on the field come together as one and just have like a quick group prayer. I think God cares that we're using our talents to the best of our ability, and I don't necessarily think he's up there keeping track of wins and losses. I think that the idea of competition doesn't go against what it means to be a good Catholic, because healthy competition, I think that it's great, and I think that it gives you a chance to interact with other people and your peers that you normally wouldn't interact with. My advice for any athlete would be just to continue to work hard and to really push through all the adversity and the challenges that you have, and to know that you can go to God for any problems or any issues that you may have on or off the field. And he's always there to listen, and I would say, don't count God out. He's always going to be there for you, whether you think that he is or you think that he's not.
How does prayer fit into when you guys play sports or when you watch them?
Well, I know that my swim team, every single time before we go to a meet, we all get in a big team huddle and we pray a Hail Mary. Our Lady of Victory, pray for us.
I have a similar experience. At the end of all of our practices or at the beginning of all of our competitions, we all get in a huge circle and we say the prayer of our choice, and we say, Our Lady of Victory, pray for us, or St. John Vianney, our patron, pray for us. And I think that really unifies us before we go out onto that.
One thing I like to pray for before I start a game is that, I remember that my opponents are also people. Like, You know, just because I'm playing against them doesn't mean that, you know, they're the worst people on the planet. And I pray that they think that of me too. I know one time when I was going up for a swim meet, we did a time trial beforehand, and for the 200 breaststroke, my time was like expected to win. And but like earlier in the day, like I wasn't hydrated well, and like, you know, I was super dizzy, and I was gonna fall to the ground walking up to the block. But the girl next to me, she was like, "Look, I don't think this is a good idea." Like, she wasn't on my team, and she was like, "You could really hurt yourself if you're, you know, not prepared. Like, something could go wrong." And I ended up going back to my coach, and I passed out and went to the hospital. And you know, she could have easily just let me get up there and flop right in the pool, like, and God knows what else would have happened. But she like didn't care about who would win and who would lose. She cared about, you know, this is another person. And I think that's something we need to keep in mind when playing sports.
Before a performance, we usually get into a circle. I know this happened when we were doing Nutcracker in December. And it wasn't really like a Christian like thing, like people were very mean. And we all stood in a circle and prayed that we would do a good job and do our best. And I know before like a recital, when we don't say a big prayer before as a group, me and my friends, we stand on the side of the stage and we hold hands and we say Hail Mary and entrust our performance to the Blessed Mother.
To me, prayer was always like something to like calm me down. And I remember back when I did cross country in 8th grade, there was like a lot of pressure on like the 8th graders to do well. Like they were top of school and everything, so everyone expected them to like place like in the top runners. And I remember I used to freak out before races. So I swear I must have said like a full like rosary before one of the races. I was freaking out, but just praying helped me to like calm down and like calm my nerves before I finally, you know, took off and started the race. So that's how prayer helped me, to be honest.
I can relate to that because I know that I've had to pray on my own because my school isn't a Catholic school like your guys' is. So I've never had the opportunity to pray as a team or to sit down and just say grace and, you know, break bread with each other, or to have that opportunity. So I've kind of had to sit there on my own and pray that I would have a good game or that I wouldn't get injured or whatever it happened to be, because that's what helped me get through the game and helped me to move forward.
All the Catholic high schools in the Diocese of Trenton have a program called Catholic Athletes for Christ. And what it is really connecting our faith to like sports like on and off the field. We have a meeting every like season, and cheerleaders obviously have 3 seasons, so we're basically at every mass. And some of the meetings are just a mass, and we all just come together in a mass. Or other meetings are they give us examples on how to live our faith on and off the field.
It's really great to see teams come together, like such as when Donovan Catholic and St. John Vianney, right before the football game started, the announcer had both teams come to the middle of the field and pray together, because really we are all children of Christ, and just because you're on a different team, go to a different school, doesn't mean that they're not human, as you were saying before, that they're the worst people in the world just because you're on the opposing team. We are all children of Christ, and we all deserve the same respect.
Yeah, I don't think that God really cares like what team wins. He really just cares that we use our talents to the best of our abilities.
We can see that sports and faith fit together quite well, and we can learn lessons from both.
In the end, God calls us to be the best versions of ourselves.
That means using the gifts and talents He has created us with to bring Him glory.
For some, this means playing sports and working hard at it.
For others, it's developing a musical talent or an academic gift.
For some, it's being a good listener. We all have unique gifts and talents.
We glorify Him not by winning or losing, but by how we play the game.
So what does your faith teach you about sportsmanship?
We'd love to hear from you.
Contact us at realfaithtv.com.
Or share your thoughts with us on Twitter.
And we'll leave you today with this.
One of Pope Francis's chosen intentions for July focuses on sportsmanship.
That sports may always be occasions of human fraternity and growth.
So together, let's celebrate the wins and the losses as we try to be the best person and athlete that God has called us to be.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time on
Real Faith TV. God bless.